Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. I am excited to be here with you today. We are about to embark on another round of Mercury Retrograde, the old dreaded Mercury Retrograde, and I am here today to support you with the do's and don'ts for this retrograde cycle and share with you how you can actually leverage the energy to your benefit. I'm Sherry Moyse, intuitive business mentor, astrologer, and your guide to the cosmos to navigate your business with more ease, predictability, and better timing. So let's dive in and talk about Mercury retrograde and what this is really all about. It is a cycle that happens 3 to 4 times a year. And it gets a pretty bad rap. I mean, yes, there can be tech snafus, but there's actually a really powerful opportunity to work with and leverage the energy instead of being directed by it. So what's actually going on here? What does it mean when Mercury is retrograde? Well, like I said, 3, sometimes 4 times a year, the planet Mercury appears, I say appears, to be moving backwards in the sky for approximately 3 weeks. And appears is a key word here because technically speaking, no planet actually moves backwards in their orbit around the sun. In fact, they don't even slow down. Retrograde, station, direct cycles are essentially illusions that result from our point of view on Earth, simply because Earth is also orbiting the sun at a different speed. Anyways, why should you even care? Well, Susan Miller of Astrology Zone says when a planet retrogrades, astrologically speaking, it's in a resting or sleeping state. Therefore, while Mercury naps, the activities that it governs don't have the benefit of a well-functioning, wide-awake planet to supervise them. And Mercury rules our communication, including all of our technology, systems of information exchange. It rules the part of us that absorbs information in an instant and transmits that information to others. So when Mercury retrogrades, that normal flow of energy is reversed. Ideas and thoughts can seem to get stuck within our mind instead of pouring out easily to others. So therein lies the opportunity. A wonderful side effect of Mercury retrograde is the increased ability to talk with yourself. Retrogrades spin the energy inward, and with Mercury, our communication begins to flow inwardly instead of outwardly, and that really allows us deeper access to our heart, our intuition, our inner compass, which is really the most powerful guidance system that we have. And so using this time when Mercury is retrograde to revisit, review, revise, we've got the benefit of being tapped into our inner wisdom in a powerful way. And with this happening 3 or 4 times during a year, it sets up this beautiful flow. So we have this retrograde cycle where we review, reassess, we redesign, then we initiate, we get some data, and then we go back and we do it again. So this is, in fact, I was on a call earlier today and we were talking about how there seems to be there's this cycle. You put something out there, you try something, and then you get some data, and then you review and revise it. Well, that's Mercury at work. And so, we tend to not want to pause in business. We think we've got to be go, 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 do all the time. But this type of energy is important. We've got to be doing these intentional revisits and reviews of ourselves, for our business. And Mercury is going to hit a particular area of life for you and for your business, if we're looking at a business chart versus your personal chart. And so that's going to give us the flavor for you personally of where it's going to be taking place. And then the sign will give you also that guidance of what lens it is being looked at. And I'll give you an example here in a second. So what I recommend is choosing one project, offer, system you want to reassess and do your deep dive review And then you make decisions towards the end of the cycle. And it is actually a longer cycle than 3 weeks, but we won't get into that. And it starts on the 12th next week. So there's plenty of time to jump into the process. And we're currently in what we call pre-shadow. And so you're probably already noticing what wants to come up for review, what is grabbing your attention. So pay attention to that. It's a good indicator of what would benefit from that review. And because we're at the end of the year, this is a beautiful time to do this. It's, we've got the holidays, etc. And you can just set aside a little bit of time. And if you were thinking you didn't really want to do as much work on your business, I have a lot of clients who want to take the last 2 weeks of the year off. That's great. Set up a little time to you can journal about it, think about it, write about it, grab some data, whatever works for you. But if you just focus on one thing, that's going to make the process easier. So I promised some do's and don'ts about this cycle and about how to work with Mercury retrograde. Let me pop through those real quick. So don't get caught up in that pop culture fear mongering about Mercury retrograde. Yes, there can be tech issues or communication issues. And so do be mindful if you're noticing those things. Depending on where it's occurring in your chart, there can be more or less likelihood of that for you. This is not an across the board thing. I've had Mercury retrogrades that I didn't even notice, and other ones where it was a nightmare. So it really just depends. But just be mindful for yourself, pay attention, make adjustments as needed. And it's always a good idea to back things up. It's always a good idea to make sure it's saved, Mercury retrograde or not. Second one, don't be afraid to take a pause. There's such an important piece of the puzzle for moving your business and life forward. But do plan for it. Decide what's going to be most supportive for your business to focus on. I talk about this a lot, like what's the one thing that's really going to move the meter? What's the thing that's keeping you from reaching more soul clients? What's the thing that's keeping you from reaching that next level of growth or income? Look at that as the potential to focus. So that way you're using the energy intentionally. And then you can really leverage it by understanding the themes that'll be at play. We're going to be hovering between 2 signs during this retrograde, which will last from the 12th to actually January 1st or 2nd, depending on where you live. We will start off in Capricorn. We'll move into Sagittarius, which I think is a really beautiful flow. During Capricorn, we're looking at things like sustainability, our long-term future, how we're resourced. And then during Sagittarius, we're revisiting our unique perspective, what we have to offer others, and how we can support them through our beliefs, how we express ourselves. So how we're helping to inspire others. So I'll be sharing more about these themes in the coming days, but for right now, I invite you to just get curious, as always, and where do you want to focus? If you're super curious where it's happening for you and what house, you can go to astro.com or astro-seek.com, pull a transit chart and find the house. Put it for the 12th. Astro-seek will give you a little blurb about what house it's in and some of the themes. You can always pop a comment below, and I'm happy to give you some ideas as well. And if you ever want to take this deeper and you want to really work with this energy, reach out to me. I've got some Mercury retrograde support that I can give you personally. We can do a one-off session where we dive into this kind of cycle work for you. So, all right, my friends, Mercury retrograde, embrace the energy. And caveat, there are 30% of you listening to this, watching this, reading this, that have Mercury natally retrograde. So the cycle works in reverse for you. During the retrograde cycle, it's a power period for you. When it goes direct, it's your review period, whereas everyone else is now ready to initiate. So congratulations, get excited. You're in a power period, you're heading into a power period. Your thinking should be more on point. It's how you're naturally wired and designed. And that's really powerful too. But either way, these processes work. So know if you have Mercury natally retrograde come mid-January, after we get out of post shadow, you will be in that review, revisit, revise. So it's this cycle that happens over and over and over again, which is the beauty of astrology, because you can, when you lean into them, you can really work with them and have them support you and your business. All right, my friends, I will be back with more Mercury retrograde magic for you and more information as we move forward. And in the meantime, remember, those beautiful stars in the sky are a great guidance system in addition to the one in your heart. And I will see you soon.